The night was a living thing in Abalam, its breath curling through the ancient pines, heavy with secrets that clung to the skin like damp silk. The woods whispered, a low, restless hum of voices too old to name, their warnings swallowed by the mist that draped the earth. Ray stood at the edge of a forgotten path, her camera slung across her chest, its weight a reminder of why she'd come, to chase the ghosts that haunted these cursed woods, to capture proof of the unseen. But her pulse betrayed her, hammering not with fear, but with something hotter, hungrier. She wasn't alone tonight, and the truth of it set her nerves alight. Her boots crunched against the frost-kissed ground as she approached the old church, its silhouette a jagged wound against the moon. The air grew thick, electric, and carried a scent that made her breath catch, brimstone and leather, sin and promise. It was his scent, the demon who'd slipped into her life like a shadow she couldn't shake. Leon. And I earned my reputation among magicians for a reason, he'd told her once, his voice a velvet growl that had coiled around her heart. Entwant, wrong move and you're dead. She'd laughed then, defiant, but now, with the church's broken spire looming, she felt the weight of his words, and God help her, she wanted to test them. Ray pushed open the creaking door, the hinges groaning like a warning. Inside, the air was warm, too warm, as if the walls themselves exhaled desire. Candlelight flickered across cracked pews, casting shadows that danced like lovers entwined. She'd come to film, to document the whispers of spirits said to linger here, but the moment she'd crossed the threshold, she'd known this night wasn't hers to control. Hunting for ghosts is my passion, but summoning a demon was never part of the plan, she'd confessed to herself, the memory sharp as she gripped her camera tighter. Yet here she was, not fleeing, but drawn deeper, her body humming with a need she barely understood. The shadows stirred, and there he was, Leon, emerging from the darkness like a predator who'd already claimed her. He was beautiful in a way that hurt to look at, all sharp angles and liquid grace, his golden eyes burning with a hunger that mirrored her own. His lips curved into a smirk, wicked and knowing, as if he could hear the frantic rhythm of her heart. "Summoned me, doll?" he said, his voice low, dripping with a menace that made her thighs clench. He stepped closer, each movement deliberate, a hunter savoring the chase. "You keep coming back to these haunted places, Ray, but it's not ghosts you're looking for, is it?" Her breath hitched, caught in the space between fear and want. She should have run. Leon was no mere man, but a demon, a killer whose power pulsed in the air like a storm about to break. Yet his gaze held her, stripping away her defenses until she felt bare, exposed, alive. "You don't know how deep this darkness goes," he murmured, his voice a caress that slid down her spine, pooling low in her belly. He was close now, close enough that she could feel the heat radiating from him, a furnace that promised to burn her to ash and make her beg for it. Ray's fingers tightened on her camera, a flimsy anchor against the tide pulling her toward him. "I'm not your toy," she said, but her voice wavered, betraying the truth. She wanted to be his, in ways that scared her, thrilled her, consumed her. Leon's laugh was soft, dangerous, a sound that wrapped around her like chains she didn't want to break. "Not my toy," he agreed, his hand lifting to graze her jaw, his touch feather-light yet searing. "Feel my obsession, Ray. Every breath you take, every shiver, I feel it all." Her body betrayed her, leaning into his touch, her lips parting as a soft moan escaped. Unbidden, raw. The sound echoed in the hollow church, and Leon's eyes darkened, a storm of desire and restraint warring within them. "All I know is my one shot at survival is the demon stalking me," she'd thought days ago, when his presence had first begun to haunt her dreams. "And he doesn't just want my body, he wants my soul." Now, standing in his shadow, she wondered if a soul was too small a price for this fire that licked at her veins, this ache that made her feel whole for the first time. The world beyond the church felt distant, irrelevant. Somewhere, a cult stirred, their chants rising like a tide, worshipping a god that craved her blood. But here, it was just Ray and Leon, two sparks in a powder keg of longing. His fingers slid to her throat, not gripping but resting there, a claim that made her pulse race beneath his touch. "On, you're playing a dangerous game," he said, his voice rough now, fraying at the edges as if he too was unraveling. "You think you can walk away from me, but you're already mine." Her breath came in shallow gasps, her body alive with the thrill of his words. She reached out, bold and reckless, her fingers curling into the fabric of his shirt, pulling him closer until their breaths mingled. "Then show me," she whispered, her voice a dare, a plea, a surrender. Leon's control snapped, his lips crashing into hers with a hunger that stole the air from her lungs. His kiss was fire and shadow, desperate and reverent, a collision of need that tasted like damnation and felt like salvation. Her hands roamed his chest, seeking the heartbeat of a creature who shouldn't have one, and found it. Wild, human, hers. The church seemed to pulse around them, its walls trembling with the weight of their desire. Ray's moans grew louder, soft cries swallowed by his mouth as he pressed himself closer, his body a hard line of want against her softness. "You're going to ruin me," she gasped against his lips, and his answering growl was a vow. "Could." His hands slid down her sides, possessive, worshipful, and she arched into him, lost in the heat, the danger, the truth that she'd never wanted anything more than this moment, this demon, this fall. Beyond the stained glass windows, the woods watched in silence, the night holding its breath as if it knew this was no ordinary love. Ray felt the cult's presence like a distant drumbeat, the threat of their god looming, but it paled against the storm in Leon's eyes. For one endless second, she saw something flicker there, something tender, vulnerable, a piece of him that wasn't demon but man, a soul that loved her back. It was enough to break her, enough to make her cling tighter, her nails digging into his skin as if she could keep him forever. The kiss deepened, a vow sealed in shadows, and Ray surrendered to it, to him, to the fire that would either save her or burn her to nothing. Her body sang with every touch, her heart a reckless thing that no longer cared for survival, only for him. "Sleon," she moaned, his name a prayer on her lips, and he shuddered, his grip tightening as if he'd never let her go. The world could end, the gods could rise, but here, in this haunted church, they were eternal. Two souls entwined, defying fate, chasing ruin, choosing each other.